What's up, guys? Here is another sweet tooth saver that saved the end of my last couple weeks of prep. This is one of those that I don't know if anybody else does this. The last few weeks I started kind of getting really, I'm so hungry. I was on low carbs. So I found myself venturing into the bodybuilding.com nutrition section. I don't know if any of you guys have been there, but it's a place where a lot of people put recipes, and there's like this is bad, but like threads on there that people post like ice cream reviews and stuff like that I always find myself following. But anyway, so I'm on there one day and I see a protein cheesecake recipe. So I'm like following it. I go on there and I'm like, oh man, it's all the basic ingredients and stuff. And then I see the macros for like a whole entire cheesecake. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's freaking great. Easy to fit in my macros. So I made my first one and I was freaking amazed at how good it turned out. A nice, dense, really great tasting cheesecake. So I'm going to share this recipe with you guys. The main ingredients that you are going to need for this recipe are fat-free cream cheese. I got the Kraft Philadelphia fat-free cream cheese. You're going to need some non-fat Greek yogurt. I get mine from Trader Joe's. You can get, it doesn't matter as long as it's non-fat, plain Greek yogurt, it's fine. Fat-free cottage cheese. Get mine from Trader Joe's. Now again, in the recipe that I originally found, he did not use cottage cheese. He used all Greek yogurt. One thing that I found after following the thread and kind of reading other people's reviews was that when you added in cottage cheese, it made the cheesecake a little bit more denser. That's one thing I like. I like a cheesecake nice and dense. I don't like it when it's kind of like softer, that's cheesecake's supposed to be like that nice kind of cheesecake consistency, more like New York style cheesecake, I guess. So that's something that that I add in with the cottage cheese. Some unsweetened almond milk. I like getting vanilla. And okay, so next is going to be your whey protein. And I will say, after researching more into the thread, some people actually did this recipe without whey protein. The one thing with this recipe is it is going to be really high in protein. Like with the recipe that I'm going to do, per slice is almost 27 grams of protein. So if you kind of want to lower the protein, you could leave the protein out. But I actually love, I personally use Trutein Cinnabun. So it goes perfect for this recipe. A nice kind of cheesecake, cinnamon kind of taste. So I personally like adding this in. You can also use a vanilla whey protein. Or even if you only have chocolate, you can make a chocolate cheesecake. That's what's nice about these is you're seeing a lot of people kind of totally go in and customize them with different, like pumpkin. You can add in pumpkin, make a pumpkin cheesecake, depending on what kind of flavor combination that you want. So you can get really creative with this recipe. Okay, so after the whey protein, and this is another thing that's optional. I have other people have said it just kind of helps the texture as well and also adds more flavor. And that is sugar-free, fat-free jello. So I have the cheesecake flavor. Next up, and then just next, your last ingredient, your main ingredient, is just going to be whole eggs. You're going to need 4 ingredients for this. The other little things that I added, just for a little bit more flavor, is just whatever kind of sweetener low-calorie sweeteners you use. I'm using stevia, and then also a little bit of ground cinnamon. One thing that I will say is, for this recipe, I'm using a 9-inch springform pan. The original recipe that I found on this, the guy uses a 6-inch springform pan, but it was so hard to find at local stores, I ended up just getting a 9-inch. So this recipe is going to be for a 9-inch springform, guys. Alright, so first what you're going to do is you're going to take your fat-free cottage cheese, and you're going to weigh out, right now I have you can see in here, there's 24 ounces or 680 grams of fat-free cream cheese in here. We're gonna start by mixing this up. This is one thing, guys, you're definitely gonna want like a hand mixer. I mean, you could probably use a whisk or a spoon, but man, it's gonna take a lot of arm power. So let's start by getting this mixed up. Oh, one other thing too, a great tip that I got from people was to make sure you let all your ingredients kind of sit out for a while at room temperature. Especially like the cream cheese, it softens up, it's going to make it easier to mix. And also to add your eggs in last. That's a tip that I got. Alright, so let's mix this up. Bam! It's best to mix it on low speed. Okay, so like this is what's nice, guys. I left it out for the ingredients for about an hour, and this is just mixing right up, super easy. And usually what I do is once you kind of have it mixed, you'll notice some of the stuff kind of gets pushed up to the sides. So you're going to take a spoon and just kind of push everything back down, and then we're going to mix it one more time. So you can see here, hopefully you guys can, it's getting nice and mixed. So let's just give this another little mix. I need to get me a nice little apron, huh guys? What do you think? I feel like Betty Crocker up in here, cooking for you guys all the time. I'll tell you one thing, my future wife, if I ever find one, is going to be lucky she meets a guy that knows how to cook, right? That's the thing with most of us bodybuilders. Most of us got a nice upper hand compared to your average Joe on cooking skills. Alright, so we got the cream cheese mixed in. Now we're going to add 450 grams of our non-fat Greek yogurt. Again guys, 450 grams. Good old food scale here. So let's add in 450 grams. And there we go, 450. Okay, and then let's go ahead and mix that up. All right, now here's the next ingredient that we're going to add in is the cottage cheese. And the one thing that I'm going to have to do with the cottage cheese is you're going to want to take like a blender, or I'm going to use a magic bullet. So here we go, like right here. Because you're gonna want it, you don't want to put the cottage cheese in the mixture, because all the little clumps won't mix up right. So what you're gonna want to do is kind of take the cottage cheese alone and mix it up first, so it kind of like makes kind of more of a creamier consistence. So I'll kind of show you guys here what I'm gonna do. We're gonna take 112 grams, like a whole serving of cottage cheese. There we go. So, we got that in a magic bullet. Alright. And then let's just throw this on here. Alright guys, and we're back. We got the cottage cheese mixed in. Like I said, now it's just nice and creamy. So now it'll kind of look basically kind of like a yogurt kind of consistency. So you're taking regular clumpy cottage cheese and it's turning into a nice, like I said, kind of more, like I said, yogurt type runnier consistency, because you want it nice and mixed in. You don't want those like cottage cheese clumps in your cheesecake batter. So we're putting all that in. Like I said, remember guys, this was just one serving, 112 grams of fat-free cottage cheese that we're mixing in. Got here to use the shorter cup. It's all down in there in the very bottom. Alright, so the cottage cheese is mixed in. Next up, let's do 4 ounces of almond milk. And hopefully I have just enough. This sucker is almost gone. Alright. Oh, we're gonna be a little, oh no, here we go. Oh, 3 point, every last little drop. 3.8 ounces, guys. Pretty damn close to 4 ounces, good enough. Literally took the rest of my almond milk. Oh, boom, 3.85, woohoo! Alright, so, next is going to be, again, this is optional. This is going to be the whey protein. I'm going to do 2 scoops. Like I said, whatever whey protein you want to do. You want vanilla. Like I said, I'm using Cinnabun Trutein. So, I do 34 grams per scoop. We're going to do 68 total grams. There we go, 68 grams of whey protein. Next up is going to be our sugar-free, fat-free jello pudding mix. So we're going to do 8 grams of this. There we go, 8 grams of that. All right, and then last ingredient, well, the main ingredient is the whole eggs. So we're gonna do crack 4 eggs in here. Ingredients in here, the next up is kind of optional stuff that I'm just kind of adding in. I'm gonna add a little bit of stevia. And a little bit of just ground cinnamon. Again, these are things that are optional. Whatever kind of other things that you want in there, you can add. All right, so now we're gonna mix this all up together, guys, and this is your cheesecake batter. Big bowl. Oh, that cinnamon from the Trutein and the ground cinnamon. Oh, it smells amazing. I remember when I was making these during prep. It was so hard not to want to just freaking lick this whole entire bowl clean. I know you guys feel me on that. Like I said, guys, I'm using a 9-inch springform pan. So we're gonna, some people, like in the original recipe, he laid out like parchment paper in there. I personally, I don't know, I just use non-stick cooking spray and it's been fine. So I'm just gonna coat the bottom and the sides with some non-stick cooking spray. Alright, and basically you're going to take your whole entire mixture and we're going to dump that into the springform pan here. It's going to be a lot of mixture. So bam, pour all that in there. Whoo! Alright, now scrape it. Alright guys, so you're going to throw this, once you get all this mixed in here, the baking times is going to be 325. So we're going to do 325 for about 30 to 35 minutes, okay? And then what you're going to do is you're not going to take it out, you're going to keep it in there. So you're going to drop the temperature to 200 degrees, and then you're going to cook it for an additional 80 to 90 minutes. Yeah, this 9-inch, guys, takes a while to bake, unfortunately. So, the main thing is, too, when this thing is, like I said, after you do the 325 for 30 to 35 minutes, and then you drop the temperature down to 200, you're going to let it bake for an additional 80 to 90 minutes. The main thing is you're going to want a temperature stick to make sure, here's mine right here, a temperature stick. When you pull this thing out of the oven, you put it in the center and make sure that it's 155 degrees before it's ready to be like done. So if it reaches 155 degrees, another tip that I got was if you can leave it out for a while, you know, like an hour or two, that's best. But if you have to run or something like that, I cover mine with like aluminum foil, and then you're gonna have to throw it in the fridge, and you have to throw it in the fridge overnight to kind of let the cheesecake settle. So that's what you're gonna want to do, guys. So again, put the temperature thing in the middle, make sure it says 155. If it's not, throw it back in the oven for a little bit longer, maybe like another couple minutes, 5 minutes, depending on how much more, you know, then pull it out and keep checking it to make sure. You want to make sure it's 155 degrees. And then, like I said, guys, if you kind of can let it sit out for a little bit before you put it in the fridge. That was another tip that I got that might help the consistency. But if not, just throw it in the fridge. And yeah, you have to let it sit overnight. You can't eat it right away, unfortunately. So, in closing, the whole entire, I'm going to give you the macros for this cheesecake. This whole entire cheesecake is 1,496 calories. So if we break that into macros, it is 214 protein, 77 carbohydrates, and 21 grams of fat. What I did was, this makes 8 really nice sized slices. So per slice, it's 26.75 protein, 9.6 carbohydrates, and 2.6 fat, guys, for a slice of cheesecake, which is pretty amazing. One other tip that I'll give, I personally like kind of making frostings where I'll take like some non-fat Greek yogurt. You can add in, you know, like almond butter to it. Add in some of the fat-free. You can even take some of the fat-free, sugar-free pudding mix. Kind of put that in a bowl and kind of mix it all together, and then to make like a nice frosting on top of the cheesecake. You can also get, I know a lot of people in prep love Walden Farms products. So my favorite one personally was the caramel one with this. The caramel and the caramel and the cinnamon goes great together. So pick up some caramel Walden Farms syrup and put some of that on top, guys. Oh, this is an amazing recipe and an amazing thing for the sweet tooth. And I will say too, this is definitely, the cheesecake's very filling, which is another great thing that's nice to all of us dieters in prep. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed this. Let me know how it turns out. All right, take care.